What's up, everybody? BJ Bennett here alongside former Florida Gator first-team All-American Ben Troop as we break down the Bud Light Southern Power Poll for Week 5, ranking the teams in the Southern Pigskin coverage area. Again, alongside Ben Troop, I am BJ Bennett, and for Jim Johnson, who is sick this week. And Ben, maybe some debate at the top when you talk about what we saw over the weekend. Clemson obviously comes to mind and their close win, their escape against North Carolina. But Alabama leads the way, more of the same. You look at Tua, you look at these wide receivers, they roll past Ole Miss, and boy, this offense is special.
The thing about that offense that's scary is they're only getting better. When guys coming into the game saying we doing rock, paper, scissors to decide who's going to get the touchdown passes, that's called cheating. That's called Alabama, and unfortunately, they're only getting better.
All right, we have Clemson at 2. Now, there was some debate internally. And there's a reflection on Ben's career, years 1 through 3. I'm just saying, you had your best year, you saved your best year for last.
That is true.
That's all I'm getting at. But Clemson, there's some debate there. In the office, we talked about, should they be 2, 3, 4? Obviously, North Carolina had a chance. Mac Brown going for too late. Clemson did not play well.
No.
But I think there's something to be said about not playing your best, finding a way to win. I still think in a power poll, when you're talking about not necessarily who has the best resume, but evaluating teams based on how good they are, and that is a week-to-week kind of roller coaster. I still think Clemson is the second best team in our area. How do you see Clemson, and did North Carolina, the way they played the Tigers, kind of cause you any pause?
No, North Carolina played their best game of the season against arguably the best, one of the best 2 teams in the country. Clemson shows that we can have our worst game and still escape with a victory. Most teams can ill afford to have a bad day and still escape with a victory. But listen, man, big shout out to Mac Brown. North Carolina played their best game, shows why he's back in the fold. But Clemson, 21-20, BJ, they'll take it. And unfortunately for them, that's probably going to be the worst we're going to see them for the rest of the year.
Yeah, coming in at 3, Georgia, they were off.
Yeah.
Coming in at 4, LSU, they were off. I think you're talking about 2 programs that have impressed so far this season. Auburn, talking about impressing. Auburn at 5, and they could be creeping up. Auburn all over Mississippi State. Now, of course, going to be a great scene in Gainesville this Saturday. Undefeated Auburn, undefeated Florida. Florida right behind Auburn at 6. But talk about Auburn, what you've seen out of this team with Bo Nix, the true freshman, Jatarvius Whitlow running the heck out of the football, and then that defensive line, wow, they will ruin your afternoon.
Listen, Bo Nix is a guy that he used to, coming into this game, it was, are they going to let him throw the football? Well, he put it all on display, this past weekend. And that defensive line, it should scare most people, BJ, because they live in opposing teams' backfield. But, yeah, Auburn is a team to be reckoned with. At first, it was, okay, we're going to protect Bo Nix. No, we're going to let him go out there and win a game for us. Now they're showing them a complete package. They're going to be dangerous.
Ben, in your mind, and again, not necessarily a direct resume comp here, because Auburn's resume probably stands alone. You're talking about a power poll. In your mind, how close is Auburn to LSU, Georgia, when you look in the SEC?
I think Auburn is close to LSU because Joe Burrow is playing out of his mind. I don't think they're that close to Georgia. Georgia's the team that, they still basing Georgia on how bad they beat the team or that BCS era. But I think they're good enough to beat the LSU team that's right now. Their offense is on, firing on all cylinders. If Alabama got the best set of receivers, Florida's right there. I think LSU is in that next fold. We're talking about what Joe Burrow is doing, but no, I think Auburn is good enough to go out there and beat anybody they play. But I still think they're notch below Georgia.
Again, Auburn 5, Florida 6. We'll see those teams this weekend. That's going to be awesome. College game day in Gville. What have you seen? What has impressed you out of Kyle Trask coming in for the injured Felipe Franks?
Poise. At the end of the day, when you haven't played in the SEC and you come behind a guy like Felipe and what Felipe has done to let his first year under Dan Mullen is, are you ready? Because everybody was thinking it was going to be Emory Jones. Kyle Trask plays within the confines of the offense. I know it's crazy. Kyle Trask reminds me a lot of a guy like Nick Foles. Not going to do too much, not going to turn the ball over. He's going to go out there and take what the defense gives him. Hey, listen, no Felipe last 2 games, no problem. 2-0 Kyle Trask.
Quietly, Wake Forest 5-0. Dave Clawson's done a really nice job over the years recalibrating that offense. I know producer Jim is a real big fan of their quarterback, Jamie Newman, a guy that can spread the field, make plays. And look, Wake Forest has not hit the meat of their schedule yet, but coming into a bye, you have to be impressed with where they are. One of the few undefeated teams still out there hanging around.
Listen, balance does a lot for any team. When you play a Wake Forest team, you're going to get balance. You're going to get a defense going to put you in put you behind the chains. You're going to get an offense not going to turn the ball over. BJ, I know a lot of people aren't talking about this Wake team because people expect Wake to start looking like Wake. Well, not thus far, and I think they're going to be a team to be reckoned with down the stretch.
Wake Forest 7, Virginia 8. Now, Virginia had chances at Notre Dame. They end up losing that game by a couple of scores. I'm still very high on Virginia. No shame in losing to Notre Dame this year, especially on the road. We saw Notre Dame take Georgia down to the wire. You got the Bryces, of course, in Virginia with Bryce Perkins, Bryce Hall. And I still think this is a good team. They're going to clearly be in the mix for a spot in the ACC championship game.
The thing about Virginia, listen, if the only blemish on your schedule right now is the Notre Dame team that's coming off their first loss against Georgia, they're going to play every team to the wire, too. And you mentioned the two Bryces. You're going to have to be able to stop Bryce on offense, who's a dual threat. You're going to have to try to complete the pass on Bryce on defense. But I do agree. I like what the Virginia boys are doing. And, hey, man, they still got the rest of the season to get back to their winning ways.
Duke coming in at 9. And, David Cutcliffe's done a marvelous job in Durham. You have some really impressive playmakers there for the Blue Devils. How about what they did to Virginia Tech? And I know Virginia Tech's still trying to figure it out a little bit, but they go in, drop a 45 spot on the Hokies in Lane Stadium. Duke's playing with a lot of confidence right now, and Coach Cut's about as good as it gets.
Coach Cut doesn't give him enough credit. Everybody was saying, "Oh man, you lose Daniel Jones, man. How you you guys had the showcase game opening week of the season against Alabama." This is a team that's going to definitely go out there and play hard, beat you. And the thing is this: I know outside of Durham, there's not a lot of expectation. That's why they can go beat a team like Virginia Tech. Keep looking past them Duke boys.
All right. Texas A&M comes in at 10. They played in Jerry World. They got the win over the Arkansas Razorbacks. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. But how do you assess Texas A&M? No shame in losing to Clemson. I mean, that's football. No shame in losing to Auburn, I don't think, this year. But it feels like Texas A&M is still trying to kind of reach their full potential.
I'm still trying to understand what's going on with Kellen Mond. I mean, people are going to say, "Oh, man, you got a guy like Jimbo Fisher. He's definitely going to help you take the next stride." I mean, the thing about it is, BJ, last time I seen Kellen Mond, he was not looking like himself against Clemson. Probably would have been a totally different game. But they're going to go as Kellen Mond goes. No matter what they do on defense, no matter what they do on special teams, Kellen Mond can get back to just playing like, above average football. They got a chance to win some games.
All right, Texas A&M at 10 in our Bud Light Southern Power Poll. Mississippi State 11. A good team. They've dealt with some injuries. Recent weeks, they've lost to Kansas State, and they ran into a buzzsaw in the Auburn Tigers. You got to find a way to get back up off the mat. A lot of football left to be played for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I mean, they got exposed a little bit against the Auburn team that's playing at a very high level right now. But the thing about Mississippi State, I'm used to seeing Mississippi State run the football, play stifling defense, and whenever you try to get cute and try to get away from what your bread and butter is, you're gonna find yourself on the losing end of any game. But hopefully they can let that Auburn game go, get back into the meat and potatoes of that schedule.
And then SouthernPigskin.com at the FBS level, we cover the ACC, the SEC, and the Sun Belt. Of course, the Southern Conference at the FCS level. But App State coming in at 12. The Mountaineers undefeated. They beat North Carolina. They got South Carolina coming up. Beat Coastal Carolina. Got an important league win. Darrington Evans, Eli Drinkwitz, Zach Thomas. You don't want to mess with App State.
Listen, man, App State is the reason why this time last year, BJ, first game of the season, App State almost pulled off a stunner against Penn State. App State is the class of that conference right now, regardless of what goes on in the rest of the season. And the thing is this: if App State beats South Carolina, they would have told North Carolina to take that. Coastal Carolina, take that. Muschamp, you up next. We'll see what happens, but I like them App State boys. They can play with anybody in the country.
So recapping our Week 5 Bud Light Southern Power Poll: Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, LSU, Auburn, Florida, Wake Forest, Virginia, Duke, Texas A&M, Mississippi State, Appalachian State.